This is Big John McCarthy, and you're watching the Hollywood MMA Show. Don't close your eyes.
I'm David Kano with the Hollywood MMA Show here at Club Nokia, University of MMA, and I'm joined with the one and only Big John McCarthy. How you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing, David?
Good. We see you in the ring reffing, but what a lot of people don't know is you're behind the scenes as well. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, I'm here just to help out and try to train guys. That's the big thing, is to get, I'm getting old, the other guys are getting old, so it's time to get a lot of new guys trained and ready to, take over and be the future of the sport and make sure that they're taking care of fighters the way they're supposed to, and they're, conducting themselves, following the rules, doing everything the way. And so this is just a good way of getting guys experience and giving them some insight in how they can do something maybe a little bit better, how they're doing it right. It's just all about learning.
So in between fights, in between rounds, I see you coaching. What are some things that you're telling them? I saw one guy you actually grabbed him.
We're talking to them about referee mechanics and why they want to be in a certain place and what they should be looking for, because they're not looking at the fight like the fan is. They're looking at it for, the enforcement of rules, the safety of the fighters. And so they need to understand what side to be on and why, what to look for and why. And it's all those things. When they call timeout, don't rush. This is what you want to look at. This is how you want to go about doing it. This is, what's going to work for you, and this is why you had a problem. And so it's just, again, it's a learning experience. And I wish I had someone to tell me how to do it. I kind of learned on my own, but it's helpful to them, and it's good for the sport for guys to get that experience in a great, amateur organization like U of MMA that puts on good fights. It's a great atmosphere for them. It puts pressure on the young officials and stuff, but it's a good learning experience for them to be able to come back and take what they've learned and then hopefully use it in the future and just, keep moving forward.
So do most of the referees, do they start at Camo, the California Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Organization, and move up? Or are they from different types of organizations like Camo?
Well, here in California, what we do is we use Camo. Basically, Herb Dean and I have training courses, and if someone passes that course, they can apply to be part of Camo. And once they're with Camo, then they're going to be doing fights depending on if it's judging, refereeing. Usually they'll all start out as an inspector, so they understand that side of it, understand, just the entire regulatory action that you're taking and why. And then from that point, they'll start either judging or refereeing, and then it's usually about 2 years that they have to be doing it here in the amateurs and achieve a certain level where they're consistent in what they're doing the right things, they're making the right calls. And once they get to that point, if they've had a couple of years, they can apply to California to try to become a professional, and we've had guys do that, and there's guys that have gone from that all the way into the UFC. So it's all a progression. Nothing's going to happen overnight. It's not something that you can just jump into, but it's a pretty fast progression compared to other sports.
But do you grade the refs? Like I know in NBA, they grade the refs from high school to college to NBA. Do you actually grade them?
Yeah, I just finished a evaluation on 2 of the referees that were being evaluated tonight. So that's part of my job, and it's always hard because you don't want to put someone down in an area, but you're going to be honest, and that's the only way that they can learn.
Do you give some refs A's and F's?
Yeah, absolutely. Look at everything refereeing is not for everyone. Fighting is not for everyone. And there's guys that are really good at doing this, and there's guys that are really suck at it, and that's just part of life, and not everyone is meant for everything. And so if you're not meant for it, we're going to say, you know what, this probably just isn't what you should be doing. There's other aspects. If they love mixed martial arts and they want to be part of it, there's other things that they can do. They can do those jobs of being an inspector. They can, work at other aspects. It's just that not everyone's meant to referee.
Well, what drives you? I mean, here you are. I saw you actually refereeing a few matches. To not just do the superstar fights of a heavyweight, UFC, Anderson Silva, George St., something like that. What drives you to come down here and be kind of a humble guy and do that?
Oh, this is about the love of the sport. I love MMA, and anything that I can do to benefit and help MMA. The big fights, when you do those, when you do the Anderson Silvas and the John Jones and the Cain Velasquez, that's the icing on the cake. Those are the ones that you get to do every now and then. You say, hey, that was fun. But they're not the everyday thing, and so this is the everyday thing. This is, there's a lot of small, grassroots organizations, amateur programs and things that you need to be part of to, help the people that are, like I said, they're going to be replacing you. The guys are going to take your job, but it's important to get them ready and get them prepared to do that, and knowing that they're going to do the right things for the sport. That's the most important thing. Doing things so the fighters are being taken care of, so that they're being treated fairly, and that, the future of the sport looks bright.
Do you feel different? Is it more nervous for you when you go to a super fight, or is it the same as doing an amateur fight?
You know what, I hate to say, I don't get nervous for fights. It's a matter of doing your job. And, I get excited for fights. When it's a big fight, I get excited like everyone else. It's, that's going to be a great fight. But, it doesn't matter if it's the UFC or the U of MMA. It's all MMA, and it's enjoyable to me.
But I know in the UFC or World Series of Fighting or other pro organizations, they let fights go a little bit longer because they are pros.
Yeah, look, there's a big difference. People need to understand what the amateur program is for. And look, any amateur that comes in here, they want to win. And we want them to be able to perform to the best of their ability. But the real thing is, no one cares in the end what someone's amateur record is in MMA. It doesn't matter. As soon as you turn pro, you're 0-0. The big thing that we want them to do is we want them to learn. It's learning how to compete, learning how to get yourself prepared for a fight, learning how to get your weight down to what it has to be the right way. Coming to weigh-ins, getting through the weigh-in, getting, everything that you were, all the anxiety of stepping out in front of a crowd and under the lights, and being that guy that is now stepping into a cage with one person across the way. Those are all sometimes overwhelming things, and it takes time to get used to them. And so that's what amateur MMA is for. So you can learn without having to get that bad mark on your pro record, a loss or anything like that. Get all of the learning experiences out in the amateurs, and then if you want to move on and become a pro, then become a pro and prove what you can do.
We thank you so much for your time.
It was my pleasure, sir. See you later.